This isn't fantasy football, it's real competition. Welcome to the NFL Survivor Tournament. You versus the field. $100 to enter, $100,000 in total prizes, $50K to the winner. Start each week with a $100K bankroll. Pick games, win returns. Top 80% survive. Bottom 20%, you're out. Bankroll resets weekly, no carryover. 20 weeks, $100K. Will you take home the cash? Sign up, lock in, and let's see if you've got the guts to survive.
Fitzpatrick. Good Friday morning, September 5th. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Allen alongside on this Friday morning as we are reacting to what the Eagles and Cowboys put on display last night to kick off the 2025 NFL season. And the Eagles, well, they did what the Eagles did best, right? They ran the football. They ignored A.J. Brown, and they leaned on the legs of Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. It was a very, very strong rushing attack. It was a rushing attack that scored all three of Philly's touchdowns. It accounted for 144 yards. 62 of those came from Hurts, 60 more from Saquon Barkley. And the rushing attack is what took the Eagles over the top and made it where they scored on the first, 4 or 5 times that they touched the ball. I mean, this game started off like this. Touchdown, 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 field goal, touchdown, field goal, halftime, field goal, fumble. Then we had a weather delay in there, and then it was punt, 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 downs, end of game. So a game that started off red hot, it ended just like the weather, a little damp, a little rainy, a little wet. But overall, the Eagles rushing attack, they powered Philly to the win last night. This is what it sounded like. All 3 of the Philly touchdowns last night, 2 from Jalen Hurts, 1 from Saquon Barkley. And folks, I cashed my parlay of Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley to score a touchdown. Not that crazy of a parlay, but hey, it's still cashed.
3rd and goal. Hurts has time. Takes off. Jalen Hurts. Touchdown, Philadelphia. 2nd and goal. Hurts again the tie. Now chase. Now taking off to the pylon. Jalen Hurts for the 2nd time tonight. Chulo, the offensive coordinator. And they run Barkley inside. Saquon touchdown. Philadelphia on top.
A classic NFC East ball game, right? Things were weird, and it ended as a narrow 4-point win for the Eagles last night, where the Cowboys felt like they let some opportunities go. They had that fumble deep in Eagles territory while they were threatening to take the lead late in the 3rd. 2 CeeDee Lamb drops on the Cowboys' final drive of the game really did them in. And Dallas, I think, is going to remember this game as a game of missed chances. For Philly, it's a win to start the season, a win where they have a lot of things to work on, a win where your number 1 receiver really only has 1 catch, 1 target for 8 yards, and that happened in the 4th quarter. And in all honesty, Saquon didn't have the Saquon game that I was expecting. Just 60 yards on 18 attempts, 3 yards per carry, and a large part of that is because Dallas's defense looked much better than what was initially expected out of them. Now, they didn't have too much of a pass rush, just 1 sack in the game. But, I mean, that's more sacks than what the Eagles defense was able to create. The front 7 did a good enough job of slowing down Saquon, holding him to 3 yards per carry. And the back end really didn't get torched all that much. Jalen Hurts was held under 150 passing yards. I think he finished the night with 142. But this is a game that had everything, right? And we experienced an entire football season in one not 60-minute game because of the weather delay in there. Let's call it a 76-minute game because of the hour and 6 minute delay. But it was an entire football season. Then we had an ejection for spitting. We had that lightning delay, a 50-plus yard kick into the wind that looked completely effortless. There was still a nasty Saquon stiff arm. And, scoring on the first 8 times that they touched the ball up until that late 3rd quarter fumble, only to then not score again for the rest of the game. And we also saw Philly get called for 9 penalties, 110 yards. In total, 13 penalties were called for 152 yards. That's enough penalties to last us for an entire season. But overall, a solid game from Philly. They're able to start their season 1-0 with a 24-20 win over the Dallas Cowboys. We're starting something on these Fridays. 804-327-0888. Text us your hottest take going into the weekend. Let us know what your biggest predictions are, what your hottest opinions are going into the season. It could be about the NFL. It could be about college. Heck, it could be about high school. Look, my hottest take, I'm feeling it. It's deep down in my gut right now. The Bengals are going to lose to the Browns, but the kicker to this hot take is that the Browns are going to allow 400 yards or more of total offense to the Browns. The Bengals defense will not be able to slow down Cleveland at all. That's my gut hot take for this opening weekend of the NFL season. And the hot take line now open, 804-327-0888. Text us your hot takes heading into the weekend. Alan, good morning. How are we doing over there?
I'm doing well.
You doing as good as Jalen Carter was to start the game yesterday?
I don't know what Jalen Carter was doing yesterday.
Yeah, so
I saw Dak made a statement on it or talked about it in the presser, but I didn't get this listen to it this morning. Did you get a chance to listen to it?
About what Dak was saying?
Yeah.
He just essentially said, I was trying to about him spitting.
Yeah.
Like the response to it. He explained it where he said, I was trying to spit, and then my offensive linemen were in front of me, so I had to step around them and spit forward, so I didn't spit on them. It was something weird. It wasn't towards Jalen Carter.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think he's that type of player. I mean, he's never been that type of player. And if you are that type of player, Jalen Carter, James Harrison, and a couple other guys I can think of off the top of my head are not the people you would spit at.
Yeah, I love Philly fans. The crash out from Philly fans last night was absolutely hilarious. There was a point where who was it? Trayvon Diggs was talking trash with Jalen Hurts, and Eagles fans. Why isn't Trayvon Diggs getting flagged for that? I mean, Jalen Carter, he got flagged for spitting. This is the same. No, it's not. And now they're trying to spin the fact that Dak spit first into. Well, Dak should have been ejected. What do we do? We have to replay the entire game. What are we doing? No, come on now. Dak wasn't spitting at Jalen Carter. Come on. And Jalen Carter, even if he was, look, you've got to have a better head on your shoulders, Jalen Carter. You can't spit back. Maybe you give him a little shove. Sure, I'll accept a personal foul. I'll accept the unsportsmanlike conduct. I'll accept you giving them a free 15 yards. But what I'm not going to accept is you spitting on another person and getting yourself ejected from a game. What are you doing? Look, I know that happened in the first 6 seconds of the new NFL season. We have got an early front runner for the what are you doing most idiotic play of the season.
Yeah,
early front runner.
I mean, it changes the landscape of the game for sure. Because I mean, the most pressure generated typically comes from Jalen Carter. The pocket collapsed a lot more when he's on the field.
It barely collapsed. They barely put pressure on Dak.
Yeah, it was definitely a game changer. I don't know how else to put it. He does have to have a better head on his shoulder, especially since Dak didn't actually spit on him. But again,
they're also 5 yards away at the time.
Yeah, it's
come on.
It's a weird way to inject yourself into something that kind of doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, all right, so he spit. It was in your direction, but I don't think it was intended for you. That's something you got to kind of think about, man.
Yeah, it's
because your intent and what you did was definitely to hit Dak Prescott, and you did it right in front of the ref.
What are you doing? But hey, Jalen Carter getting ejected may have helped you a little bit because, Alan, yesterday on the countdown to kickoff over at Dave & Buster's, we had a great time over there in Short Pump, watched the game, hung out with some friends. You got a little jersey there.
Yeah.
We figured that out, though. we have made sure that the rules have been followed there and everything is good. But so with that, we were doing countdown to kickoff at Dave & Buster's in Short Pump. Fantastic wings. They had a great $10 for 10 wings special. Took advantage of that. But you gave out your score prediction. And look, if there was a nail out there, you hit it on the head. It was a 10 out of 10 score prediction. You called it. This is what you said yesterday with our countdown to kickoff out at Dave & Buster's in Short Pump.
I think that the Cowboys can get at least 24 out of it, and I think that the Eagles will get 27 or 31 out of it.
So you think Dallas covers?
I think they cover, but the weather's not too well up there, apparently. According to my friend's tech, I have a friend actually at the game. He's a Cowboys fan. So I'm assuming it's raining. So that might throw some things out the window, and we might not see the over that I was thinking as well. Take my over, throw it out the window, give me an under. But I'm still thinking I still think maybe Eagles 24, Cowboys 20. I'll go down there.
Ding, ding, ding,
That's so
Alan.
weird.
Yeah, hit that.
I know it's such a weird score to fall on, but I don't know. I just felt it. I just felt like that was it.
24-20.
It's gonna be some field goals in there somewhere.
The under hit. Look, if you had taken Alan's advice on betting the under and the Cowboys to cover, and then my advice of the Hurts Barkley parlay to score, you had a pretty profitable night if you're a sports bettor.
Yeah, no, it was a solid night if you're a sports bettor. If you went the logical route, right? Because I think those are logical routes. We talked about it on Raising Hell with the Commanders Giants line. It's 6. Man, these division games with the NFC East are competitive. I just don't think those lines need to be that big. Matter of fact, before you left, I told you, I was like, yeah, I feel like this is 3-4 points too high.
Yeah.
On the spread. And if you're into that kind of stuff, week 1 is the time to really get your licks in, because then the books will, make their adjustments and things will get a little tighter. But risk are there to take early on. So it's cool to get an exact score, but I never play that stuff.
I've never played an exact score in my life either. But hey, you start the season off the right way, nailing an exact score. So I got to respect that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be humble about it, but yeah, it was a good NFL slate on a Thursday, because man, Thursdays can get unpredictable.
This might be the most predictable Thursday opening night that we'll have all season. A Thursday night game that we'll have all season. All right, let's update you with what you may have missed in the wide world of sports. While you were locked into the NFL game, here's what else happened.
This is your Fitz The Bill morning update, getting you caught up on some of the biggest stories in sports.
So yesterday, the 49ers added Christian McCaffrey to the injury report with a calf issue. He was listed as a limited participant in practice. He did participate, however, in the 20 minutes of drills that were open to the media. Just as a reminder, in week 1 of last year, CMC was a late scratch, and it was later revealed that he had bilateral Achilles tendonitis. So something pretty major to monitor there. Micah Parsons was limited again yesterday in practice. However, the Packers and Micah remain hopeful that he will be able to go on Sunday. Matt LaFleur said, quote, "I think he was able to do what we had planned for him." He later went on to say he's doing a good job with that. In college football, according to sources, Bill Belichick and UNC have banned the New England Patriots staff from the program. When reached by ESPN, North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi said, quote, "Good luck," and then hung up the phone. And no, this is not an AI-generated article. This was posted to ESPN that he said, "Good luck," and then hung up the phone. UNC further declined to comment. Patriots scouts were informed that they were banned earlier this summer, a day before a scheduled visit in August. Right ahead of kickoff for the Broncos, Denver inks pass rusher Nick Bonito to an extension that makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in Denver history. It's a 4-year, $106 million deal with $70 million of that guaranteed. In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark announced she will miss the rest of the season. She'd only played 13 games this year while working through an injury and has not played since July 15th due to a groin injury. In the U.S. Open women's singles semis, Amanda Anisimova took down Naomi Osaka to advance to the U.S. Open finals to take on Sabalenka. It was announced yesterday as well that 2 boxing legends will enter the ring to compete in an exhibition. Mike Tyson and Floyd Money Mayweather will fight next spring. And last but certainly not least, around MLB, Phillies got a 2-0 win over Milwaukee. Good night to be a Philadelphia sports fan. And the Yankees got an 8-4 win over the Houston Astros. So the Cowboys may have lost, but their favorite baseball team at least got a win. That's all that matters. So I said it earlier, every single Friday of this football season, we're going to be doing our hot takes. Text us your hot takes heading into the weekend. College, pros, high school, whatever it may be, it does not matter. We just want to know your hot takes heading into the weekend. So every single Friday, 327-0888. Text that number. I said mine earlier, a hot take I feel like going into this weekend. It's the Bengals losing to the Browns, but not only that, the Bengals defense allowing over 400 yards of total offense to the Cleveland Browns. Just a gut hot take for this weekend. Want to know yours as well. So text us at any point in the show and we'll read them aloud on the show as well. We were scheduled to have Pat Jaggers in hour number 2, but he's a busy man. He's on a flight currently going to Worldwide Technology Raceway. He'll be unable to join us. So we'll try to catch up with Pat early on next week to recap the race and how the playoffs are going in the NASCAR Cup Series. But that opens things up for a loaded day of all things NFL, recapping the Cowboys-Eagles game, previewing the Chargers-Chiefs game tonight in Brazil, and of course, taking a look around the state with what they've got coming up tomorrow and tonight for some state schools, and then taking a deep dive into some of the biggest matchups of week 1 on Sunday. What a loaded show. Cannot wait to get into it. So let's get our first break in here. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more Fitz the Bill on this Friday, September 5th morning, right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Oh, I can't believe we blew a 5-touchdown lead.
Sure, but you got to feel like they were going to win for almost the entire game.
But I was about to buy playoff tickets.
So you were prepared for a good time. That's pretty nice.
It's the worst loss any team has ever had.
And you got to witness history.
Okay, we're done here.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula? No.
Coffee?
No.
So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See, doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo? Absolutely not.
Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Summertime in RVA means Richmond Kickers soccer games at City Stadium. Family fun, food trucks, and men's soccer action on the field. Tickets online at richmondkickers.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
Wrap up your workday with Matt Josephs and Bob Black from 3 until 6 p.m. Live interviews, breaking news, and real talk about Richmond sports. Your business can be part of the conversation. Own the afternoon on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports. Call 804-330-5700 or email espnrva@summitmediacorp.com.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
Expect merging delays heading north on 195 between Laburnum Avenue and Bryant Park Interchange. We have a crash on Terminal Avenue at Richmond Highway. Some heavy traffic heading west on 64 between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95. And for those of you heading north on 95, we're seeing some delays between 64 and Hermitage Road.
It's the second of 3 straight away games for Richmond football, and we're ready to bring it home to you. Hi, this is Bob Black. Join Chris Anderson, Matt Smith, and me this Saturday when the Spiders travel to Wofford. 6 p.m. kickoff. Our coverage starts at 5:30 right here on the home of the Spiders, 106.1 ESPN.
Man, I just watched Dak Prescott spit again. Dude's face down, not looking towards Jalen Carter whatsoever. Whoever thinks that Dak started this with spitting first, I'm going to need you to relook at that footage. There ain't no way that if Jalen Carter thought he was spitting at him, Jalen Carter's got bigger issues. Just come on, man. Come on, man. All right, we're going to go out to the phone lines. Reggie is on line 1 on this Friday morning. Good morning, Reggie. How we doing?
Well, I was waiting to hear Jerry Jones' great philosophy about that run defense, but I haven't heard anything about it. He's such a great tactician. What did Colonel Jerry Jones say about that great run defense?
He said Jerry Jones would have painted it as a positive last night. He'd say, well, we held Saquon Barkley to 3 yards per carry. He wouldn't mention the fact that they allowed 3 rushing touchdowns, however.
Well, he got what he wanted, but the main reason I called, I'm predicting now that Dr. Henry Frazier, Virginia State men's football coach, the current record is 99-77. He will get his 100th victory this coming Saturday down there in Spartan Lane. I'm calling my shot right now. Dr. Frazier has been a winner everywhere he's gone. And for people who and I remember, it was some school down there down south that had such a terrible winning streak, Prairie View, that they had them on midnight talk show talking about these guys are 77 losses in a row. Well, he was the one that stopped that streak, and I am so proud of Dr. Frazier, and I'm sure he's going to take care of business against Michael Vick, and just be another learning experience for Coach Vick in his new venture, being a head coach.
That would be a egg on Mike Vick's face to lose to a Division II school. I know Norfolk State fans would not love that, but I'm kind of in the boat with you, Reggie. I think Virginia State can go down there and pull off that big upset.
Well, Dr. Frazier doesn't look at Virginia State as being a D2. Because everywhere he's gone, he's been Division I as far as his coaching. So don't sleep on what Dr. Frazier has accomplished.
No, I'm not sleeping on it. But look, I'll say this, Reggie. The facts are the facts. They are Division II. It would be a pretty massive upset in terms of what it would bring to on a national stage. It would bring a lot of eyeballs to Virginia State. If they're able to go into Norfolk, take down Michael Vick, where there's all this pomp and circumstance around him, that would be a pretty big national story. And the headline would be Division II Virginia State takes down Norfolk State.
Well, the Coach Reggie Barlow handles business and took them down before. And I'm saying right now that don't be surprised if the men of Troy, they call us Little State, but we're not going to be Little State Saturday. We're going to handle our business. They can say Little State all they want. And the woo-woos will be in fine fashion. So I got to give Norfolk State credit. They got a bad band. And Lord, the ladies, oh my God, the ladies. Yeah, make an old man cry.
Look, I can't wait for the game on the field, Reggie. The battle of the states. I can't wait for the battle of the states. Whoever wins this, I will then refer to as just state for the rest of the season.
No question, but quick question. The question was brought to me, do they think if Michael Vick could have a successful season in the next couple of years, excuse me, would he look at being the next coach and maybe ODU or Virginia Tech? My question was no, because he doesn't have enough coaching experience. But to me, those two high-profile schools want somebody with more experience. What's y'all thoughts on that?
It depends on how much success he has. So, and granted, that Towson game to start the season doesn't make me think that's going to be happening anytime soon. And that's no slight to Michael Vick. I think he's got a lot of learning to do, not only this season, but in the next couple of seasons. But say he rattles off the rest of these games and maybe he loses one or two more and wins the MEAC or something crazy. I think if Virginia Tech wants to make a splash higher, maybe they do it. ODU, I think, could be in that same spot, but I think both schools are in a spot where they'll likely they'll hire someone else, and then say if Michael Vick is still at Norfolk State in 4 years and has had good success and has seen like incremental growth, then maybe. But you're right. They need more experience. If you're going to an ODU, if you're going especially to a Virginia Tech, you need that experience. Dion was at Jackson State for 2-3 years. And then prior to that, he was a high school coach. So he had that experience. Yeah. Michael Vick is just getting his feet wet now. He has coached 4 quarters of football.
Yeah, I agree totally. Hey, the guys doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Reggie. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend as well. There goes Reggie. Look, it's a big game this weekend. Virginia State against Norfolk State. Well, we'll highlight some of those coming up in hour number 2. Some of the games around the Commonwealth that we're focusing in on because a lot of good games. One of them tonight, JMU against Louisville. I love it. I understand where Reggie's coming from. JMU's putting out the same messaging, right? And it's one that always makes me giggle a little bit. We're not an underdog. We're coming in to win the game. Yeah, I know, but you are. Like JMU fans and JMU's doing the same thing. We're not underdogs. We're coming here to win. I would hope so. Yeah. Don't pull a page out of the Grambling State coach. You hear what the Grambling State coach said?
No, what did he say?
All right, this is what the Grambling State coach. We were going to play this in hour number 2, but this is a perfect time to bring up what the Grambling State coach had to say about Ohio State this weekend. The dude does not have a lot of faith in what's going to happen up there in Columbus, Ohio, as his Grambling side. We'll get a fat paycheck. We'll get a fat paycheck for playing Ohio State. This is what the Grambling coach said.
Obviously, moving forward this week, it's Ohio State. Beat Texas 14-7. I mean, just what's your initial thoughts on the defending champ?
Well, first of all, they got a great band. And we have a great band. And we're going to compete as a band. But I'm just joking right now. We understand what we're getting into. We understand what's going to happen. We understand it's not balance in the scholarships. It's not balance. And what they have is resources around what we have resources around.
They've got a great band. We've got a great band. We're going to go there and compete as a band. All right, coach.
I like that, though.
I do, too. Like
they do have a great band. All things considered.
and it's going to be a great battle of the bands between the two sides. So back to the Cowboys-Eagles game last night. Jalen Carter, he gets ejected. That's the start of the game. And then it did have a huge impact on the remainder of the game. There was no pressure being generated from the Eagles defensive line. They didn't bring a sack down of Dak Prescott. There's only 1 sack in the game in total, but it really allowed Dak to have time. And in that first half, you saw it. He was dissecting the Vic Fangio defense. Somehow, some way, CeeDee Lamb found himself wide open on multiple occasions in the first half. I don't know how that happens. CeeDee Lamb finishes the game with 7 receptions, 110 yards. He had 76 of those 110 in the first half. They scored on their first couple of drives. They scored on every single drive up until late in the third quarter when they fumbled the football deep inside of Philly's territory. That would have given the Cowboys the late lead in the third quarter. However, they fumbled it, and then from there, Philly was able to kind of just muster out and strong arm the Cowboys into a 24-20 win. But the Cowboys figured something out quite early on, and it was the fact that, man, Adoree Jackson could get got. He was getting got a lot. He struggled in that first half.
Yeah, the thing about the thing about the Eagles defense, I know people are saying or thinking that it's a weakness to it, but they kind of went through this last year when they can't get pressure. It's some of it's system based with Fangio. Fangio doesn't have pressure up front because he's playing zone coverage. If you've got time, people are going to find the holes, right? I think the Cowboys did a great job of scheming CD open. He's usually Dak's first look anyway, but keeping him short, like honestly, not even intermediate, a lot of short routes and allowing the space for him to do his work after the catch, which is kind of his skill set. I just think they had a really good game plan to attack this Eagles defense. And that game plan gets significantly easier when the main pressure that you have and Jalen Carter is not there.
Especially the interior pressure. Like he could just push the pocket and make Dak.
Did you see Dak run? It's awful. It looked like Peyton Manning. He was so stiff.
Did you see Dak a couple of passes? His arm angle was like really odd. He almost like shot put it looked like.
I think he was trying to do because the coverage, like yesterday, the coverage is pretty tight for the most part, and there was a couple throws.
Except when it was CD. Man, CD.
Yeah,
was
except
open
when
on,
it was CD. Yeah,
I was like,
there was a couple throws, especially going across the middle, where he's literally got to place it over a defender, almost like he's lobbing it.
He was doing that on the one Jake Ferguson penalty.
Yeah,
which actually, like, I know hindsight's 2020. That was so funny looking back because it was a failed third down conversion. If they don't get flagged for that penalty, which I don't think they should have, that was one of the ticky-tack ones. Ferguson's falling down and Blankenship just kind of runs into him. But if they don't get that penalty, they kick a field goal and it's 24-23.
Yeah.
Completely different ball game. Instead, they get the automatic first down. What next play or the play after that, Miles Sanders fumbles. It's just like, yikes.
Yeah.
If only you had known.
The Miles Sanders. Jahad Campbell had a great game.
Jahad Campbell had a very good game.
I love his energy. They've got such a promising young core of linebackers.
Zach Bond, he's so good too. He had 9 total tackles, 6 of them solo, a TFL, a pass defended. Jihad Campbell is learning from the right linebacker. Hilarious that Zach Bond played for the Saints as an edge rusher. He comes to Philly and he becomes one of the best linebackers. Oh, he is an all-pro, so I feel comfortable saying it. The best linebacker in the NFL last year at his position. Just hilarious kind of evolution for Zach Bond.
Yeah, I think he sees the field and processes really well from the position change, which is funny that, you would think it wouldn't make that much of a difference, but it seems like, again, it fits his eyes. It sounds cliche, but some guys just see it better from a traditional spot than their hand in the ground.
Yeah. But I will say the Eagles right now have a CB2, CB3 issue. Adoree Jackson is not it. Adoree Jackson was getting tore up. Now, he won't face a lot. I say that. He does got a couple of great receivers that he'll probably face throughout this season. Terry McLaurin 2 more times, CeeDee Lamb 1 more time, and Malik Neighbors 2 more times. Eagles got to figure out how to game plan around Adoree Jackson. He was targeted 7 times. He allowed over 100 yards. He allowed over 20 yards per catch. I mean, the dude was getting absolutely shredded. And I think Dak had a 100-plus passer rating when targeting Adoree Jackson.
I want to go back and look because, again, it's a big zone-heavy defense. I think sometimes zone coverage corners get punished for the wrong things. And if he's got, multiple people coming at him and he's got to cover a certain amount of space, it's going to free up CD, right? And now if they're man-to-man, then that's a little easier way to evaluate. But, I mean, zone coverage sometimes can get a little tricky, and we're quick to blame somebody.
I'll happily blame.
Yeah,
I'm
when in actuality, if it's CD and a running back on his side, he's supposed to be in the flats, and CD crosses his face and he stays put because the running back's coming after him. I don't think he should be penalized by so much. He's got to cover 2 guys essentially. So that's why I like to dive a little deeper before I start, piling on to people. But CD's he's a tough assignment no matter what, man. Like,
you're right there, but
I was about to fight Jamie about it this morning, but he's without a doubt a top 5. I would say he's top 3. Yeah, I would say he's top 3. Oh. And when he gets the ball in his hands, he's really hard to stop.
We got a text last night at the countdown to kickoff. Did you see it?
Yeah, about Dak Prescott.
Yeah. He's a top 10 quarterback. And last night you saw he was a good quarterback last night.
Well, like I told the texter, it's hard to talk about do a pregame show of 2 teams and you don't mention the quarterback. So
imagine how I know Dak finishes 21 of 34, doesn't have 200 yards, but imagine how different that game is if CeeDee Lamb doesn't have 3 fourth quarter drops, which is something he's only ever done once in his career prior to last night. And it happened last season in week 13 against the Giants. Imagine how different that game is if CD catches those 3 balls, 2 of them on the final drive.
The ones that hit him directly in the face are the ones that hurt the most.
Last 2, not the last one, because that was kind of a tough one.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
The one that bounced straight up, the one right before that on second down, brother, you got to catch that.
Those are really good and anticipatory throws by Dak, though, to fit him in the window.
Yeah, and he had a couple of good passes. There was the one down the sideline to George Pickens when he was pass interfered with, but that was a really good pass right on the money. His 2 passes to Jake Ferguson, neither one completed, but both were on the money right where they needed to be.
His clock was good, too. There was a couple times
before or you mean like with the pocket presence?
Yeah, there's a couple times where he was very close to getting sacked and he got out the way. I think the dynamic between Dak and Jalen last night was awesome, because Jalen's not doing it from the pocket per se, but his runs were well timed. Him essentially fighting for more yards, getting more shiftier than we're used to seeing. Like it was just very calculated.
Yeah.
There just wasn't a false step by him or Dak. But it's two different spectrums of quarterback play, which I think is awesome to see. And if he can play like that the entire season, it's not the most statistically appealing numbers.
No,
but it's efficient. And look, and it's how they win.
We were saying yesterday, Jalen Hurts at 20-1 preseason was a very valuable pick for MVP. If he plays like he did last night, over 200 combined yards, passing plus rushing, 2 touchdowns. If he does that, and that defense wasn't necessarily lights out last night, if that's kind of the blueprint for how they win 12, 13 games this season, Jalen Hurts could be in the MVP conversation by the end of the year. I feel comfortable saying that. But my biggest takeaway from last night's game, Philly is Philly. But the Cowboys might be a little bit better than we all expected. At least me. I'll speak for myself. I won't put words in your mouth. But I do think that the Cowboys were slightly better than what I had anticipated. Their rushing defense wasn't abysmal. It could be a little bit better, but it wasn't abysmal. And their back end of Trayvon Diggs, Kaiir Elam, and Deron Bland didn't get nearly as shredded as I thought they would. So,
like I said, give me a month sample size before I cast full judgment. They played a lot better than I anticipated. I'd said, the spectrum was either they were going to compete or they were going to get blown out. There was not going to be any in between. I'm happy to see that they were on the competitive side. But, there's all this hype and momentum on that first game. Like I said, it's like a coach getting fired. You get excited.
Yeah.
And Antonio Pierce comes out, you get your win, and you're like, this is going to be good. And then 6 games later, you're 1-5.
Yeah.
So let's give it a couple games.
Let's see how it plays out for them.
For the offense, definitely everything's up for them. Defensively, still some concerns there that did not get addressed last night.
We got a text in about our hot take. Hot take number 1 coming in on this Friday. You ready for it?
Yeah.
The Lions beat the Packers by 10+ as the world finally begins to appreciate the greatness of Jared Goff.
Oh man, he had me until to that last part, man. I thought we were going with the greatness of Dan Meathead Campbell.
I'll add that into this hot take. The Lions beat the Packers by 10+ as the world finally begins to appreciate the greatness of Jared Goff and Dan Meathead Campbell.
There's no appreciation of the greatness of Jared Goff. What greatness? I mean, seriously, what greatness?
I don't like Jared.
I'm not saying he's awful. You can win with him. Hell, he's been to a Super Bowl
and he made it to
he made it to an NFC Championship. He's been to
game.
NFC Championship games and everything. But
he's like Trent Dilfer, but slightly better. You can win with him. You're not winning because of him, but he's not. He lost you the NFC divisional game this last year. But like Jared Goff is Trent Dilfer on steroids. Let's get a break in here. Text us your hot takes. The text line 804-327-0888. You can also drop them in the comments section on our stream as we're live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond and we'll pop right on up. Let's get a break in here. On the other side, we've got some news or snooze on this Friday edition of Fitz the Bill. ESPN
Looking
Richmond.
for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Defense. The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's going to be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At East Coast Appliance, our Labor Day Customer Appreciation Sale is still going strong with huge savings on new and scratch-and-dent appliances. Save up to 50% off new appliances store-wide. Special offers on dishwashers and laundry pairs and limited time 0% financing you won't want to miss. Always same day or next day delivery and install available. The Labor Day Customer Appreciation Sale at East Coast Appliance. The best price or it's free.
Oh, I'm getting so sick of going to the laundromat. Didn't you just get a new washer and dryer? Yeah, but it still hasn't arrived. Where'd you get it? One of those big hardware stores. And every time I call, I get the garden department, lumber department, or something like that. Next time, let me know. I have this appliance guy who does same day or next day delivery and install. I'm going to call and cancel my order. Great idea.
You should never have to wait weeks or even days for a new appliance. Shop East Coast Appliance today and get the best price or it's free.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
The Rich Eisen Show. Do you think Mahomes is sitting around pissed about whatever that story is being written?
It's so hard to get to a Super Bowl. And Tom Brady would say the same thing. So my guess is that's the thing that probably gnaws on him pretty good, that he's lost a couple. Fortunately for me, I didn't lose one.
You see how I smiled when he said he never lost? By the way, fortunately, I never lost a Super Bowl. The Rich Eisen Show from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
It's currently 67 degrees and sunny with a high today of 88 and a low of 63. We're feeling a southwest breeze averaging about 6 miles per hour with gusts up to 14 miles per hour. We're expecting clear and sunny skies for the rest of the morning and into the afternoon with clear skies in the evening as well. Taking a look at this weekend, we're seeing about a 50% chance of rain both Saturday and Sunday with a high tomorrow of 89 and a high on Sunday of 74.
Roll down the windows and crank up the sports huddle. Join the voice of the Richmond Spiders, Bob Black, every weekday. From stats to strategy, he's your rush hour MVP. Drive time just became prime time. News or snooze?
It's Friday morning news or snooze. We've got obviously the headliner, Jalen Carter ejected for spitting.
Did you see Jason Kelsey's tweet about this?
No, what did he say?
I will let you fill in the blanks on what you think he tweeted about spitting.
Oh, he probably was like, yeah, I mean, we do that.
All right, newsworthy. This is newsworthy. Why? Like, I've said it multiple times this morning. What are you doing, dude? Like, early front runner. And it's going to be hard to catch this. And this is a new award I have now just made up on the spot. The What Are You Doing Idiot Award. Because that's what this was. This was an idiotic move from a guy who is a hothead. He is a little crazy. We know his past history at Georgia. I understand it. But at the same time, brother, you have to know how important you are to this Eagles defense. You are one of the main pieces that make it all go. And your ejection made it where Dak Prescott had all day in pocket. He was able to pick your defense apart at times. He really focused in on Adoree Jackson. You can't get ejected for spitting. That threw off the entire calculations of that game. And Jalen Carter, you better hope you don't get suspended because, man, did you hawk a massive loogie right to the chest of a quarterback. If this was an offensive lineman, probably wouldn't be as much outrage, but it's a quarterback. They are treated differently. Jalen Carter, you better hope you're not suspended for a game too.
Yeah, I see I see the tweet. People have no sense of humor.
Was it from Jalen Carter?
No, Jason Kelsey. Yeah, I see the tweet.
You know what I'm. Yeah.
It's not radio appropriate,
No,
but
not at all. That's why
it was funny.
If you go check out Jason Kelsey's Twitter, he was a little unhinged last night. That's what I'll say. He was unhinged with some of the
comedic timing to that.
Yeah, there was 100% some comedic timing.
I don't have a problem with that, but yeah, I we'll probably forget about it just because that's how the news cycle works in the NFL. No soon.
Forget about what I've already done. I've already forgotten.
Exactly
about it.
Right. No soon Friday hits. Right. The games today hit. We'll forget about it.
There we go. Yep.
He'll find something else to do because he is a hothead.
He'll punch someone.
He actually already has.
Look, do you think he learned from the Ndamukong Suh school of how to play football?
He's not as bad as Sue, in my opinion, though. He's not. Sue
had a whole career.
Yeah, Sue was trying to stomp on people and everything. Like Jalen Carter.
Just give it time. Jalen Carter's spitting at a quarterback before a play is even run on offense.
Jalen Carter's he's very reactionary, whereas Sue was very an instigator.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah. But where is your mind that a play hasn't even been run you go?
I was so confused.
Like we were sitting there watching the game, and there were injured players down, and we're like, okay. And then the yellow flag pops up, and we're sitting there like, they flagged the guy for getting hurt. Is this a fake injury? What's going on?
Big Dom's walking them off. I'm like,
all right. Also, look, here's a rant. People get mad about Taylor Swift. I get mad about Big Dom. What other security guard has an Italian flag on his dang hat? I hate Big Dom.
Big Dom plays an important role. Having been there and seen him in person, and what he does for that team, I respect Big Dom.
Look, if you get mad that Taylor Swift gets shown on television too much, I need you to keep that same energy when it comes to Big Dom. That's all I'm saying.
All right, number 2, CMC added to the injury report with calf issue.
Newsworthy.
Look, you people don't care. You don't care if he's hurt. You only care about your fantasy team.
Yeah, duh.
Only care about your fantasy team.
I also will say, though, that the 49ers are the worst when it comes to injuries. They just be doing their most. Remember last year, week 1, he was working through a calf issue. There was a quote from CMC at one point in training camp last year where he goes, if the game was tomorrow, if it was a regular season game tomorrow, I'd be playing. Fast forward like 3 weeks, he still wasn't practicing. And, he was put on IR and he missed half of the season due to bilateral Achilles tendonitis. That was the calf issue he was working through last year in training camp. Now he's been practicing all training camp, but then magically pops up as a limited participant in practice with a calf injury. Now, could that be them just kind of working him on a pitch count a little bit in training camp? Maybe, but it does raise a lot of red flags and it sets off a lot of alarm bells. So it's a situation we are actively monitoring.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for the Niners having a litany of injuries at the receiving core, we don't need our quarterback, wide receiver, and running back all rolled in one getting hurt again, which is the concern that we had as fans and just in general when they took him from Carolina, right? Like he came in with a little bit of injury history.
Yeah,
he gave us some healthy times, but at some point it was going to rear his ugly head again, and it looks like it's back. So hopefully it's not anything too serious. I wouldn't be pressed to play him if we've got to depend on Brock Purdy for a week or so. Thankfully, our schedule's not that hard. Say the health of CMC and anybody else. The health of CMC and anybody else is more important.
It's about to be a big week. You may have got an easy schedule, but not week 1.
I mean, it could be your Super Bowl. It's just another game for us.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Your Super Bowl means you lose.
Yeah,
the way that you have played in recent Super Bowls.
And it's against the Chiefs, not the Seahawks.
We've done a good job of not trash talking too much leading up into this 49ers.
Nothing to say, man. I'm looking beyond everybody. My target is Casey, Rick, and the Chiefs. I want to beat Patrick Mahomes. I don't care about anybody else.
All right. Well, you got to beat the Seahawks to get there. And
no, they just scheduled them for us and let us play.
Ain't happening. All right. What's the next one?
All right. Number 3, Abe Lucas signs extension with the Seahawks.
Snoozeworthy.
Snoozeworthy indeed.
But it is quite interesting. And look, I've tried. I keep my Seahawks fandom as low as I can, but here we are It's Blue Friday. That's what Seahawks fans call it. On Fridays, you sport the jerseys. I'm going to be bringing out the Seahawks jerseys. I've got a long list of jerseys I'll be wearing throughout the season every Friday.
Yay.
But I've got to throw out Abe Lucas extension is quite interesting. 3-year, $46 million. No guarantees have been reported. And Abe Lucas is a very important piece to the Seahawks offensive line. He's been hurt almost every single year that he has been in the league, but they are now signing him to this extension before the final year of his rookie deal. And look, it's probably a deal that's heavily front-loaded and gives the Seahawks a pretty quick out. But great for both sides, because if Abe Lucas gets hurt again, then his value is going to tank even more. If he plays a full season, his value is going to skyrocket. So they kind of have this compromise. They find the middle, and Seattle trying to find their future right tackle for the next couple of years with Abe Lucas. He's shown signs of flashing. I really like this deal. In the grand scheme of the NFL, it's newsworthy. In the world of Seattle Seahawks fans, it's newsworthy. But the play of Seattle's offensive line is going to determine how good this team can be, because Sam Darnold is so susceptible to pressure, more so than almost any other quarterback in the NFL. If that offensive line can't give him at least 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds, then it's going to be a long season for Sam Darnold. And Clint Kubiak, the new offensive coordinator for the Seahawks, loves to run the football with unique packages. If they can't get any type of blocking going up front with that offensive line, then it's going to be a long season for the Seahawks. You saw what happened with the Saints last year. When their offensive line fell apart, the Saints offense completely fell apart. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Bruce is on line 1. Good morning, Bruce. How are we doing?
Good morning, Fitz. Good morning, Alan. I have a subject that I called to speak about, but I want to talk about, you brought up a deal, and I want to talk about the head scratcher, because actually, Fitz, you broke this head scratcher on Tuesday morning. I mean, riddle me this, Batman. How does the most, wealthiest person in sports get caught up in an endorsement deal for their star player versus paying whatever the cap is? I mean, what's going on in LA world? How do you say, hey, Kawhi and your team, we would rather give you an endorsement deal, even though I'm worth 8.9 gazillion, I'm going to give you an endorsement deal versus paying you a salary. I mean, speak to what in the world is going on in sports that we have to resort to this financial shenanigan. So I'm baffled as to how that occurred. That's just my take on it.
I'm baffled about it too a little bit, Bruce, where at the core of it, so Kawhi signed the max extent or the max contract he could at that time in free agency when he comes over from the Clippers. And so there was no more money they could have given him in terms of salary. So I think the argument here, or I guess what they're pointing to with the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast, is they're trying to point to the fact that they sweetened that deal. If they were competing with the Lakers to get Kawhi or competing with the Celtics, whoever it was, I forget who was competing for Kawhi in that free agency window. But essentially to sweeten the deal, they give you the max extension, what every other team is offering. But they're also saying, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you're going to get this $28 million endorsement deal too, to essentially knock your total contract value to $200 million, something that no other team was able to do at that time. And it was all done through aspiration, this weird company that Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, was a part owner in. And Steve Ballmer sat down with Ramona Shelburne of ESPN yesterday, which, complete side tangent here, absolutely mind-boggling that Steve Ballmer wanted to sit down with ESPN, which is the outlet that, did not break the news, instead of sitting down with Pablo Torre, who I imagine probably requested to interview Ballmer multiple times throughout this entire process. He never did. Now that it's broken, he's now sitting down with ESPN for what was kind of a softball interview, but that's besides the point. He says he had no clue that Aspiration was doing something like that, which is also a pretty big issue in and of itself. Man, you own an NBA team. You should know if a company that you are working with, that you are a part owner in, is working with a player to do an endorsement deal that is directly tied to your franchise. That is just as big of an issue as them giving Kawhi $28 million with an under the table, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hush, hush type of deal.
Hey, let me just follow on that too. Kurt, the name of Curt Flood has to be raised when we have these issues. I know you guys know the history of Curt Flood, but Curt Flood sort of was the Aviant to free agency as a baseball player. And it's still, and that was in the 70s. And we are 50 plus years later, we're still seeing these shenanigans. So I know y'all up against a break, but I just want to say, I don't see how Jalen Hurts is not a top 5 quarterback. I just don't see it. And so maybe you could go Joe Burrow at 4. Maybe. I said maybe because he does not have a chip. But we got to say, Jalen Hurts gets the respect of Terry Bradshaw. That's my only take on that.
Bruce, thank you so much for calling in. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend as well. Look, Jalen Hurts, he wasn't even in my top 10. I can't take him from the top 10 all the way up to the top 5. That would be insane.
At least you're not unsportsmanlike this morning. My man Canty is disgusting.
Is he all over Jalen?
He trashed Jalen Hurts so bad for the last 2 years. And then this morning, he's putting him in the same conversation as Patrick Mahomes. That guy's a winner. I'm like, dude, don't switch up that much.
Look, it's Lamar. Here we go. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow are your top 4. Jalen Hurts is not that 5th quarterback, though. It's not Jalen Hurts.
I mean, I appreciate a winner. I like Jalen Hurts and what he brings to the game. There are several other options I would pick over him just because the component of passing is so important in today's NFL. But at the end of the day, we don't really look. Winning is an intangible, and it's a mentality and everything. But it doesn't necessarily give you a bump when we're talking about rankings and performances. Unless you've got the complementary ability. And I think that's what people forget sometimes. It's not enough just to be, air quote, a winner. Like, we know he is a winner. That's fine.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than that.
Yeah, guys that are better than Jalen Hurts, in my humble opinion, Jaden Daniels, I would take over him. Matthew Stafford, I would take over him. Jalen Hurts is a very good, and people think this is a bad word, an elite level game manager. I really like him, but I just would not put him in the same conversation as those top 4 guys. It's just not where I would put him. I wouldn't even put him in the conversation with the top 5, top 6 guys. But that's a conversation we'll have throughout the season. And maybe Jalen Hurts will prove me wrong. All right, Sonny, keep it locked because we'll be coming to you on the other side of this break when we kick off hour number 2. So, Sonny, hold on the phone lines. We'll be coming to you in just a couple of minutes. And of course, it's Hot Take Friday. Text us your hot takes, 804-327-0888. We'll be back with hour number 2 right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Bob Black's here to get you through the wait, whether it's hoops, gridiron, or on the diamond. 4 to 6 p.m. never sounded this smooth. Let's ride home with the voice of the Richmond Spiders.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Linux dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Defense. The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Yep, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's Translation Company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's going to be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Cooler fall temperatures are coming, and that means perfect weather for a round of golf at Queenfield Golf Club. Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens, and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course. Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at queenfieldgolf.com. Queenfield Golf Club, RVA's best kept secret.
It's the second of 3 straight away games for Richmond football, and we're ready to bring it home to you. Hi, this is Bob Black. Join Chris Anderson, Matt Smith, and me this Saturday when the Spiders travel to Wofford. 6 p.m. kickoff. Our coverage starts at 5:30 right here on the home of the Spiders, 106.1 ESPN.
From the ESPN studio, presented by Ortho Virginia. Find one of Ortho Virginia's orthopedic locations at orthovirginia.com. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick alongside Alan as we've got a loaded hour number 2 coming up here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. We're going to talk all things college football, NFL, so much more in between. And we're going to go out to the phone lines to start. Sonny Dirth out there on line 1. Sonny, I have a feeling I know what you're going to talk about because there's a pretty big game that I think you're clued into this weekend.
Well, I mean, what's wild is they're happening at concurrent times.
That's
AMU and Louisville are all alma mater on ESPN2. However, I will, and believe me, I'll be watching that one. But I mean, I'm the high school guy at the Virginian Pilot on the desk tonight, and we have the odd game of mentioning that Murray, the top-ranked team in the poll here, plays at Verina, top-ranked team in the Richmond area poll. Coincidentally, my alma mater. And I saw your Seahawks jersey there, and I'd like to note that a lot of the people going to the game tonight will be driving down Michael Robinson Way.
Yep.
Named after the Seahawk who won the Super Bowl. But anyway, it's kind of a shame Murray lost last week to Cardinal Gibbons in Raleigh, North Carolina. That knocked off their 30-game winning streak. But they still, even now, we still voted them number 1 in the poll in the 757. My colleague Larry Rubama ranked the top 50 seniors in Hampton Roads. That's basically from Williamsburg and southeast to the North Carolina border. And he had 7 Murray guys in that group. Ike Simmons, a linebacker, headed to Pittsburgh. Wide receiver Eli Moss-Williams, who's headed to JMU. Vonnie Wiggins, a defensive back, wide out going to William and Mary. And Damon McDaniel, a wide receiver going to North Carolina Central, are the top 4 of those guys. I would argue that, having followed Verina football for over 40 years, I'd argue that this is the biggest non-Highland Springs regular season game in the history of Dawkins Stadium.
I think that's a correct assessment. And Sonny, I've got another name for you, too. You said fans will be driving in on Michael Robinson Way. Maury, the alma mater of Cam Chancellor, Virginia Tech grade, of course, and Seattle Seahawks grade. So a little Seahawk connection there.
Point. Yeah, great point. Absolutely right. Chancellor went on to Virginia Tech. And he played his entire career as a Seahawk, did he not?
He did indeed. Then he had to retire due to, I think, a neck injury.
The Legion of Boom, one of the greatest nicknames ever for a defense.
Heck yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a fantastic game. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. We'll be out at that game tonight doing all of our social media coverage, so you can follow along. Fitz the Bill, ESPN, RVA, and everything like that. But when Alan told me Sonny was calling, I was like, I know where he's going with this. He's a 757 guy. He's got that Verina alum connection. It's a big game for you personally and professionally.
Yeah, exactly. 2 coaches who played for their alma maters. Marcus Lewis for Verina, Doree McCain for Murray. Both both people who have been great in their home area where they were raised.
And all of the kind of subplots around it. Not only is it the two best teams in their respective areas, according to a lot of the media around both of the teams, but I mean, there's always that kind of underlying 804 versus 757. Who's the better area? Who's the better area code? Big opportunity here. Kind of feels like the expectations of both area codes kind of fall on their shoulders tonight.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, the good thing is for both of these teams is it's not like either one of them is going to miss the playoffs if they lose this one. I remember one year Verina came into the Highland Springs game 9-0 and lost, finished 9-1 on a decided at the last second and missed the playoff. That's not going to happen here. Now, I mean, pretty much any good team makes the playoffs now.
Yeah, exactly. This is just a game with a lot of bragging rights at stake. It would be it's a great win for either side, but neither team in danger of missing the playoffs. Both teams expected to run through their respective regions. Sonny, thank you so much for calling in. Have a great rest of your Friday and have a great weekend. Enjoy the games.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There goes Sonny to Earth. JMU plays tonight against Louisville, our alma mater, and then a big time match of Verina Maury. Alan, you're going to be out there. I have a friend of mine scheduled a fall wedding, man. I'm anti-fall wedding. So it's going to be beautiful out there. I'm very excited. I love. Should be a very, very lovely weekend.
I love too, but I love football more.
But Verina Maury, that game nearly pulled me away.
I mean, honestly, I'm excited. I've never seen Maury play. I've seen Verina play a couple times, but I've never seen Maury play, so I'm excited. We always get a clash of styles when 757 teams come to this area or any area, honestly, which is something that we didn't talk about a lot during high school because we focused on our Richmond area teams. But similar to like hip hop, right? Like you got your New York style of rapping, you got your Atlanta style of rapping.
Analogy.
Yeah, but it's like that in high school football, right? You got a certain way they play out in the 757, a certain way they play out the 434, 540 area, and then a certain way they play in Northern Virginia is what I'm going to, the DMV.
The 703?
They even claim their area code?
I don't know. Because there's a lot of different area codes.
That's
up
what
there.
I'm going to give them the title.
Honestly, the 540 just describes so many different play styles because like Fredericksburg plays differently than they do out in Harrisonburg.
Yeah.
And they're both the 540. Roanoke's different than Harrisonburg.
Roanoke, like the William Flemings and Salem's and stuff out there definitely play a little differently.
But
which Verona just smoked William Fleming.
They just 35-7, I think was the final.
Wasn't enough, coach. You should have scored 60.
Should have scored 83 like Manchester did.
Oh man, Manchester! I'm so excited to see their offense.
I can't wait to get out to a game.
Manchester. I can't. Since they hit the scene on the 7-on-7 stuff on Twitter, I've been excited to see it.
They got a good quarterback, Abernathy, 4-year starter at the high school level. He's got a bunch of offers, and he's the. I'm excited to get out to a Manchester game sometime this season. Question is, which one? There's so many good games every single weekend.
Yeah,
that's been the most difficult part of our Talk of the Town stuff. We go out on Fridays. We try to find,
you did it again.
Wow, I just tore this mic off. The screw is stripped. I'm not taking responsibility for this. That's been the toughest thing with the Talk of the Town Friday stuff. We're going out. This weekend was easy because you look at the schedule and you go, Verina Maury. Sure, it's not 804 versus 804, but it has huge ramifications through just bragging rights and the culture between the two football areas. But looking forward, there's so many good games every single weekend. It's like, how do we pick just one? So we'd love to hear from you.
We might have to split up, honestly.
804-327-0888. Let us know which games you want to see us at, and we'll try to make that work. We're going to go back out to the text line here because I think Bruce was not a fan of what I said after he hung up when it came to Jalen Hurts. He texts, Jalen Hurts makes game-wise decisions to lead the Eagles to win. Crucial third down decisions and plays that change the game's outcomes. That's more than game management. Game manager is not a bad word. It has just been co-opted by people to put down quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts does not throw for a lot of yards, but he makes the right decision consistently. He runs when he needs to run. He doesn't run like a Lamar Jackson. You could say he doesn't throw like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson had over 4,000 passing yards last season. Jalen Hurts did not eclipse the 3,000-yard mark. Lamar Jackson is an elite level quarterback. You cannot put Jalen Hurts in the same breath as Lamar Jackson. You can't put him in the same breath as Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow even. I'll even go out there. Like, Jalen Hurts is not that level of quarterback. Jalen Hurts last season threw for under 3,000 yards. He had a great yards per attempt. He makes the right decision, but Jalen Hurts, like, he's not in the same breath as the elite guys. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think game manager has become like some kind of like trigger word for people to slight quarterbacks. But I've always been a proponent of, like, some of our elite quarterbacks have been game managers. They just know when to.
Patrick Mahomes is a game manager.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes
they just know when to pull back and allow the team to carry them to the rest of the way. Again, you could put it into Google and it gives you like characteristic traits of a game manager: low mistake rate, high percentage plays, relies on team, dink and dunk style, focus on clock management. That would describe Patrick Mahomes last year.
Patrick Mahomes, ever since they lost Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Like, Patrick Mahomes has become the most elite game manager of all time.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing to say that Jalen Hurts is also a game manager.
I don't think it's a bad thing either. I mean, he is very reliant on the team around him, but he's also able to make plays himself. He's a winner, right? Like last night, again, he was making the plays with his legs. He was extending the plays, extending the drives. It was him. And, you know, we don't have a way to quantify intellect, but he's a very smart player. He lets the game come to him. He doesn't take a lot of risk. That's a positive for him as well. So at the end of the day, he's got a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. We can criticize all we want.
And another Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to criticize him. Like, I'm not saying that he is, like, he's not a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He's not. Not right now. Now, could he go out and prove me wrong for the rest of the season? Sure. But he had one good game. He had one great game last year at Cincinnati. He had an 89.7 PFF grade. But you know what else he had last year? A couple stinkers of games when it came to throwing the football. So Jalen Hurts rises to the occasion. He's probably one of the most clutch players in the NFL too. He has such a low. I lost my train of thought completely. What was I saying?
Yeah, you were talking about
Jalen Hurts had a. I don't even remember.
You gotta let people. I'm talking in his ear. We have a caller, so I threw him off. I apologize.
Oh, I gotta finish this thought though. Jalen Hurts. Oh, low pulse.
Yeah,
there we go, man.
There you go.
Good job. He has such a low post. He's such a clutch quarterback. He rises up. I mean, one of his best career games was a Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs a couple of years ago, and it was primetime last night, kicking the season off. And what did he do? He had a good game. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He is not an elite level quarterback. And you know what you can do with Jalen Hurts? You can win dang Super Bowls. If Jalen Hurts was the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, you know what I would be doing? Jumping for dang joy.
Yeah, I'd be pretty happy.
Like, I'm not trying to poo-poo him. He's good. He's not elite, though. All right, we're going to go out to the phone lines. SC Duke is out there on line one, talking a little JMU as the Dukes get set for a ACC showdown later tonight against Louisville. How you doing?
Hey, Fitz, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Great. I'm surprised you're not on a one-way ticket or round trip from Richmond to Louisville right now, but that's understandable. But I just wanted to reach out and wish the Dukes all the best and everybody in RVA and the Commonwealth to watch ESPN2, where hopefully the Dukes can bring down another ACC foe. We've already defeated SMU, Virginia Tech, UVA, and the Tar Heels. So let's just add to the list. But go Duke, and I appreciate the shout-outs for all the guys in the Roanoke Valley and their football. You guys know what you're talking about, even though I don't live there anymore. I am a native of the Star City, but I enjoy the show, and I'm calling from South Carolina.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Enjoy the game tonight. I'm right there with you, hoping that JMU can pull out the win. Unfortunately, couldn't find my way over the bourbon and the football, but the bourbon was calling me to Louisville this weekend. But,
but
like I said,
and the horse racing for me.
Like I said, fall weddings, they take precedent. I love love.
You have friends that don't love you, though. My friends wouldn't even put me in that predicament.
Look, I had free tickets offered to me for the Louisville game. I just had to get there.
See, I would have been. I'm so sorry I can't make this wedding.
No, I'm very much looking forward to this wedding. It should be be an awesome
When
time.
I go dark on social media, that's when you know I got the hookup.
Okay. But It should be a fantastic. I'm very excited for this weekend for the wedding and everything like that. And that's what social media is for. That's what these phones are for, right? I can still watch the game tonight at the reception. Not the reception.
Like Kat was doing. He was at, I think, the U.S. Open but was also watching Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, it's the welcome party tonight.
Yeah,
I'm going to be. Hey, how you guys doing? Sorry, 1 second. Jamie's running a play.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So what's the latest? And then I'll also be texting you to get updates from the Verina Mori game as well.
Yeah, I will be out there and I will be actually watching the game. So I'm not going to answer my text messages when you text me.
All right. Well, that's rude. All right. Let's get a break in here. On the other side, we're going to talk a little bit more about that JMU Louisville game, as well as Virginia Tech showdown with Vandy, UVA's game with NC State, and everything else happening across the Commonwealth in terms of college action this weekend. Stay with us with more Fitz the Bill, 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Oh, I can't believe we blew a 5-touchdown lead.
Sure, but you got to feel like they were going to win for almost the entire game.
But I was about to buy playoff tickets.
So you were prepared for a good time. That's pretty nice.
It's the worst loss any team has ever had.
And you got to witness history.
Okay, we're done here.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No. So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See, doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo?
Absolutely not. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Soccer in RVA is winding down with just a few games left this season. Make your plans now to catch the next Richmond Kickers home game, Wednesday, September 17th versus Portland Hearts of Pipe. Tune in to hear ESPN Richmond live as we count down to this nationally televised game on RVA Community Night at City Stadium. Then it's on to a Saturday night showdown, September 20th versus Charlotte Independence. Reserve your tickets today at richmondkickers.com. And don't forget, at Kickers games, dogs are always welcome.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey, it's Delvin Joyce, JMU Hall of Famer and former New York Giant. Listen, make sure you tune in to Talkin' Dukes every Wednesday on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Go Dukes.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Friday morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Allen alongside. Great shout out from Bruce on the text line as well. Matt Josephs brought plenty of luck to Petersburg. He sat down with Jerome Mathis, the new head coach of Petersburg. They're 2-0. They got a win last night against LC Norcom. LC Norcom has come to the 804 now in back-to-back weeks and has left with an L.
You know, it's funny. I played against Jerome Mathis.
Damn, you're old, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, that's how I know I'm getting old, man. The guys coaching are guys I played against. Jeez. And in all honesty, anytime I think fast, like what I saw as an athlete,
yeah,
bro, no words. He was so fast. It was insane. Like, how's this humanly possible?
I love that. That's hilarious.
Because you know how people be like, oh, I run a 4.2 or something like that, or I'm fast. And you're like, yeah, I ran, well, I didn't run track. I did shot and discus, but I'm around a lot of fast people.
Uh-huh.
Nah, man. When my guy took off, when Mathis took off, yeah, it was different for sure. Like, wow.
Look, there's out of pad speed too and in pad speed. If you're fast in pads, you're a different type of fast.
He was fast no matter what. You could put him in some wet shoes and he's still blazing.
And he's got Petersburg out to a 2-0 lead, a 2-0 record.
Yeah, no, he was an awesome football mind too on the low. So I'm happy to see that he's prospering down there in Petersburg.
So tonight we've got a JMU Louisville game. SC Duke called in and he was mentioning the SMU win. I like the mention of the SMU. However, they were not ACC at that time, AAC at that time. But JMU's had their success against Power 4 teams. When they were FCS, they got a couple of wins against Power 4 teams. And since they've made the move up to FBS, they've had success against the ACC, going 2-0 against them the last 2 years, 2-1 since making that jump up to the FBS. But that one loss came in 2022, the first year of the transition at Louisville. And there was a lot of questions. There was a lot of stuff just to kind of take you into the time machine to go back to that one real quick. JMU was playing an injured quarterback, Todd Centeio, who's now a graduate assistant at UCLA, working with his former quarterback coach, Tino Sunseri. That's just a fun little fact. But Todd Centeio was playing through an injury, and JMU's offense just did not look all that cohesive. Now, fast forward to 2025, JMU goes back to Louisville to face off against the Cardinals in what is probably the most difficult game JMU has had, at least since 2010, Virginia Tech. But I'd argue this is the best team they have played in the new millennium. I mean, this Louisville team has on the low college football playoff expectations. They've got a dog in Isaac Brown at the running back position, and Miller Moss, the USC transfer. He should be able to thrive in this Jeff Brom coached offense, who has taken Jack Plummer, turned him into an NFL quarterback, and took Tyler Shuck and turned him into a second round draft pick. Grand hustle getting Shuck drafted. And then Shuck couldn't even beat out Spencer Rattler. But this game tonight has all the makings to be a very fun Friday night game, a good appetizer to the Chiefs-Chargers game, which will be kicking off about an hour after JMU kicks off in Brazil. Let's go out to the phone lines. We've got Chris on line one. Good morning, Chris. How we doing?
We're doing fine, man. Not here to talk Raiders today, but yeah, Kurt Floyd reference to an NBA player that started the NFL season, and you talk about your Virginia weather. That was crazy. But I like to talk about why Jalen is not a top 5 quarterback, and everybody keeps saying he's not what are the parameters for being a quarterback? And I heard somebody say he's a game manager. Well, in essence, all quarterbacks are game managers. Some just manage it better than others. But if you ask any player with any skill level, what is their main goal? I can guarantee they say win a Super Bowl. Winning is priority number one. So how can you just push that to aside and say, well, everybody win? Everybody doesn't win. And Joe Burrow, he's okay. He's got incredible wide receivers. It might help him out a lot, but availability is a big part of it, I'm sure. I like winners. Most people don't like winners, and they find ways to tear winners down. But when you look at this guy, all he does, and I'm a Raiders fan, but all he does is win, and he's not a top 5 quarterback, and he's got more rings than everybody in your top 5 except one, and he's beaten one.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
Jalen Hurts, though, there's so much more than just winning a Super Bowl. Wins are not a quarterback stat. If I'm starting a new franchise tomorrow, I'm not going out and I'm not taking Jalen Hurts with my first pick. Like Jalen Hurts, you said Joe Burrow. You said Joe. Yeah, it depends on your team. You said Joe Burrow. He's benefiting from Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Well, isn't Jalen Hurts benefiting from the best offensive line in football? Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and the best defense in football?
The caveat to that is, yes, they all benefit. No Super Bowl winning team doesn't have a great team.
Well, then you can't take it away from Joe Burrow. You can't take it away from Joe Burrow.
I'm not taking it away from him. I give him that. But he hasn't won with his talent. So I can't put him ahead of a guy who has won with his talent. All teams have talent.
So
all great teams that win a Super Bowl have great talent.
You don't have a team, right? You're putting together a team. Tomorrow you got to pick a quarterback. You don't know what the rest of the team's looking like. You're taking Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow.
I don't know. I really don't know. Because if I got a first pick, what I take, look at the work on the field. Joe Burrow throws a great pass. He escapes. He's got great wide receivers. He can't run as well as Jalen.
No, but Jalen can't throw near as well as Joe. Jalen Hurts was 20th. Jalen Hurts was 20th in the NFL last year in passing yards.
And a Super Bowl champion. And people say he had a team around him. But what did he do? He outplayed Patrick Mahomes in both Super Bowls. I'm not talking about team-wise.
Well,
look, the eye test. He outplayed number one Patrick Mahomes both times. Look last night. He was the man. He wasn't managing. So I don't understand what the logic of not having him. I'm not saying he's the best, but to be so disrespectful and say he's not even in the top 10 or not even the top 5, and I kind of agree with Kansas. He in the top 5, and he ain't 5. Period. I don't understand the logic. I don't know what you.
Based on your logic, Patrick Mahomes outplayed him in the first Super Bowl because he won the Super Bowl.
No, I was using your logic saying that he only does his game management, like he can't play, but he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes won the game, yeah. But based on your logic about Jalen can't do this, he can't do that, or this person is better, he outplayed number one. Stat-wise, he outplayed him. Eye test, he outplayed him. And he won last year.
He won last year. Yeah, he did.
Joe Burrow beat him, and I haven't seen Joe Burrow back since.
Joe Burrow. Okay, I see what you're saying. I understand. Game manager, though, is not an inherently bad word. Game manager just means that he makes the right decisions consistently. He's clutch. He knows how to win games. I'm there with you. I'm agreeing with that. I am just saying, if I'm trying to pick a quarterback to start a franchise with, who I think based off of talents, I'm throwing the wins part out of it. If he has no talent around him, who is going to raise the floor of his team? I'm going Patrick Mahomes. I'm going Joe Burrow. I'm going Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen.
How can you do that? Because let me ask you this. Based off of what? Because when did neither of those people have talent? Kansas City was a built team before Patrick got there. We haven't seen Patrick with a team that wasn't built. Kansas City was already going to the playoffs with Alex Smith. Patrick Mahomes walked into that.
So is Brady not one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time because he had Bill Belichick who built the team around him to benefit him? Is Russell we're picking and choosing the arguments to discredit some quarterbacks, but then we're hyping up Jalen Hurts. He walked into the best offensive line in the NFL. He's got the two best.
Here's and I agree with that, but here's the point I make to that. Every quarterback, Joe Burrow, did he walk into it? Yeah, he walked into talent. But
Joe Burrow walked into a dumpster fire.
Okay, but listen, you keep knocking him for having talent, Jalen, but he won with his talent. Yeah. Josh Allen hasn't won with his talent, and they're just as talented as Philadelphia. He hasn't won with his talent. Lamar Jackson has surely had a talented roster around him. He hasn't won with his talent. Come on. I mean, using your logic.
I am just so confused on how saying he's not a top 5 quarterback and calling him an elite level game manager is discrediting Jalen Hurts. Like, I just don't get it.
You can't say he's a top 5 quarterback if they mean the same thing.
Because he's not. He is not a top 5 quarterback. I would rather have 5 quarterbacks before him.
I don't know why you play the game. You play to win the game.
All right, so Trent Dilfer is one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Who's that?
Trent Dilfer. 2000 Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl. He's one of the greatest 60 quarterbacks ever because he won a Super Bowl, right?
I never considered him. He wasn't even up for discussion.
Well, I'm just saying. You're saying you play to win the game. He's winning Super Bowls. He won a Super Bowl. So is he a great quarterback? No one thinks that.
No, that's not the point I'm making. Is you're saying that the team around him is the reason why Jalen won, and I'm trying to show you that Lamar Jackson got the same talent around him. He hasn't won. Josh Allen's got the same talent around him. He hasn't won. I don't know how you put Jaden Daniels. I know this is the Washington Redskin area, so I guess you ask for a pass on that. But he had 1 year. Let's see what he does. Extrapolate that. Let's see what he does first before we just. Because sports people today are so quick to enshrine people after 1 year. Let's see what he does this. And I like Jaden, but I'm not ready to say he's a top 5 quarterback because of what I saw last year. Because if you look, he had a lot of luck going. He threw a Hail Mary to beat Chicago. Yeah. It's a lot that goes into that. You can't just say, oh, he went to the NFC Championship. He's a top 5 quarterback. No.
Look, I'm excited to see how Jalen plays out. See if you're right or if I'm right. But right now, as it stands on September 5th at 9:29 a.m., he is not a top 5 quarterback in my book. Chris, thank you so much for calling in. I always enjoy chatting. Gotta write a new book. I always enjoy chatting with Chris. Gets me riled up.
Chris doing a lot of deflecting from Amari Cooper retiring too in that Raiders debacle out there. That's cool.
You're gonna get a call back real quick.
Nah, it's cool. I let you guys go, man. I'm happy that he called in to kind of go at it about that, because that is a good conversation to have. But we do need to define things. That's why, off air, I always talk to you about defining things.
Yeah, which is why I defined it there.
Because game manager is this black.
It's not a bad thing. That's what I'm trying to I'm also trying to get that across. When I say game manager, I'm not trying to downplay the talent of him. He's making the right reads. He's doing the right things. And then if you get into this whole thing of he has the talent, the Eagles team that we saw last year, one of the best teams we've ever seen.
Yeah, for me, it's a real simple thing. I'm evaluating the quarterback on several layers. To me, passing the ball, the ability to make passes, make throws in the NFL at a high clip is important to me. And when I say make throws, there's a couple boundary throws that Dak Prescott made yesterday with the defender bearing down on the receiver, and the receiver was able to secure the ball. The ball placement was good. I get real technical about that kind of stuff. You got to be able to throw outside the numbers on a consistent basis, right? Decision-making plays into that. Jalen Hurts checks that. The pushback for me on Jalen Hurts, when I put him up against his peers, will always be his ability as a passer, right? The results in and of itself probably plays more to team because he has a good team around him. But like you guys hinted to, every Super Bowl winner should have, in theory, a good team around him. So I'm not going to dock a guy for that. But if we're just taking it at face value, the position of quarterback, your ability to complete passes and to complete a wide variety of passes is very important when I'm putting you in just that spectrum of evaluating you as a quarterback. And in that case, he is below average compared to his peers that are in the upper echelon of the NFL. So those Mahomes, those Allens, those Lamars, and things like that, that's where he'll always get a black mark against them. But at the end of the day, again, we're never going to be able to tear down the results. It is what it is.
No, he's a winner. Yeah. And that's an X factor. He's been a winner everywhere he went. Oklahoma, Alabama, now with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a winner. And I'm not trying to take away from that. I understand he's clutch. He's got a low pulse. He's a good quarterback. He's just not a top 5 quarterback. He's probably moved into my top 10 after the offseason because he was probably hovering around 11th. He's probably now back in my top 10, but just to say that he is better than Joe Burrow, to say that he's worthy of being in the elite level status. If I am starting a team tomorrow and my first pick is quarterback and I don't have the rest of the team, I'm not going Jalen Hurts. We saw what happened when Jalen Hurts isn't able to utilize his legs. Back in 2023, he was dealing with a knee injury. He was a shell of himself. He was not good. And when he is healthy, he's fantastic. But when he's dealing with the knee injuries and he's dealing with things like that, then he struggles. But I think he's a good quarterback. He's just not top 5. All right, let's get a break in here. Step aside, keep chatting, keep calling, keep having some fun on this Friday.
Air Supply 50th anniversary celebration, November 23rd, Dominion Energy Center. Performing their iconic hits in one night. On sale at DominionEnergyCenter.com.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Defense. The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's gonna be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Defense. The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Yep, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's gonna be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Border to Border with Matt Josephs on 106.1 ESPN.
Your daily 3 to 4 p.m. pit stop for unfiltered sports takes, statewide debate, and no holds barred analysis.
Richmond's Game, Matt's Lane.
Don't miss it.
Back in Fitz the Bill. Right here at 106.1 ESPN Richmond. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan alongside as we roll you, get you set for the weekend. And we were just talking about tonight's game, JMU at Louisville. Louisville is a slight, I think about a 2-touchdown favorite as it stands. If you're into that type of thing, if you're into the sports betting, JMU looks to win their 3rd straight against an ACC opponent. However, Louisville, man, they are a tough team to beat. Miller Moss, I know he threw 2 interceptions. If you're box score looking against their game against Eastern Kentucky, then you're like, wow, Miller Moss threw 2 interceptions. That was his Achilles heel at USC, right? Well, then you kind of look at the film and you're like, oh, well, he threw 2 perfect balls and they just kind of like batted around off the wide receiver into the opponent's hands. So they're not really either his fault. And overall, Miller Moss had an electric game. Oh, by the way, Isaac Brown, their sophomore, who's the reigning ACC Rookie of the Year, rushed for 126 yards, 2 touchdowns on just 6 carries. I know it's against an FCS opponent, but Louisville beat them up sideways, and it's going to be a tough place to play at their place. Friday Night Lights, a quote-unquote shorter week than normal. It should be a fantastic game. If JMU can pull out the win, they're in the driver's seat to be the college football playoff rep from the group of 6. Even if they lose, though, they still have a pretty good chance if they're able to handle their business the rest of the way. But this is a big game. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's a JMU must win, but this is certainly a JMU very, very nice to win. That's how I'm looking at this game tonight as they go to Louisville. Hopefully they don't drink too much bourbon. The question is, which bourbon on my bar back home am I going to crack open for tonight's game?
I might have to revisit some of my notes, but I really liked Miller Moss when he was at USC.
So
I thought he had the tools, man.
He just kind of got a little turnover prone at times, but I think he has the tools too.
I think some of that can be coached out of people. Yeah.
And Jeff Brom is a quarterback whisperer.
Now, Brom's a solid QB coach, really friendly system too. So it's going to be a tough out for JMU, man, because
they're tough because Louisville's like a low key ACC contender, a low key college football playoff team.
And I know you can't be but so contrarian because of your affiliation, but one thing that really grinds my gears with JMU is they start games
so
slow.
Fast.
They
scored their first 4 tons
finally, but like last year, because I only got last year and then there's one game this year. If they can continue to do what they did in the first game this year,
there were times. I mean, they started pretty fast especially near the end of last season. Their issue is
They can score in a hurry, score in bunches,
Yeah.
and then things just go off the rails. And that was kind of on display in their game against Weber State.
Did they have a lull in scoring against Weber State?
A huge lull in scoring. There was a point in the game between the end of the first half and the third quarter where Weber State technically outscored them 10-3.
I wonder if that's a play calling thing.
I don't know if it's a play. Like, so I was having flashbacks to last season because the way they lost the Marshall and App State game at the end of the year, right? It was fast starts and then cooling off, getting out of rhythm, and the team never really could refine that rhythm. Like, you go from averaging 15 yards a play to averaging 3 yards a play in those two last regular season losses of last season. And you're just like, why is this happening? And then Weber State this year, they start off scoring on their first, 4 drives. Boom, 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 boom. Looking like they're a well-oiled machine. Then there's a fumble. Some things go wrong. There's an OPI. There's some penalties that go against them, and all of a sudden they're out of sync, they're out of rhythm, and they can't seemingly get back into rhythm. Now, is that because they couldn't get back into rhythm, or is that because some backups were in because it was already a blowout? Is that because they maybe shored up the playbook a little bit because, you don't want to put too much on film for Louisville? Like, there are more factors going on with last Saturday's game, but those flashbacks were happening. I was like, look, JMU can't afford a 5-minute lull offensively against Louisville on Friday.
No, you can't. And history is on your side, though. You guys have been a thorn in the ACC side. So
2-1 since moving up to the AC to the FBS.
That'll be a good storyline. But yeah, you're right. You've got to finish drives against a team like Louisville, and you can't get but so far behind, man, because they will put up points in bunches. And really the main thing to watch here too is turnovers, right? Because if you're I think you guys are 14-point dogs,
something like that.
Game? Yeah, if you're a 14-point dog,
can't turn the ball over.
Yeah, if you want to give yourself a chance to win, you gotta make sure you're protecting the rocks.
I'm expecting protecting the rock, and then Bob Chesney, who showed at UNC last year, he likes to try and steal possessions through onside kicks and steal some points with
special teams was big for you guys against UNC. With a block punt.
So try to steal some possessions and do some special things with your special things with your special teams.
Yes.
I didn't mean to do it, say that, but
that's not
special
cliche.
Teams make special plays with special players, as Sketch would say. So that game kicks off tonight, ESPN2. A couple of other games around the Commonwealth that have huge ramifications. Virginia Tech against Vanderbilt. Tech cannot start the season 0-2. They need a Power 4 non-conference win. They haven't had one of those in what feels like eons.
SEC loves Virginia Tech.
It is a sold-out game, trying to get revenge for last year's loss at Vanderbilt.
Revenge.
But man, the vibes in Blacksburg, I imagine, are not that great.
No, probably not. But again,
still looking for their first offensive touchdown, by the way.
I saw some good things out of the offense as far as the play designs and things like that. The execution was off. I feel like that can be fixed. But, if you go in and you lose this game, man, I don't know if anybody can say Brent Pry at that point. Even if he goes on a run and wins the next,
it just feels bad.
Yeah, the next wrong. Like 10, he's got to
go 10-2.
Yeah, he's got to go 10-0 if he loses his first two, which is not where you want to be.
Coming into the season, I said the start of the year they'll be 1-1. Which game they win, which game they lose, I couldn't tell you, but they'll be 1-1 after 2 games. You got to win this game.
You can't ask for $60 million and start 0-2.
No, you cannot. You can't be like, give us more money. Oh crap, we went 0-2. Like that's why this season is so important for Virginia Tech, not just for Brent Pry, but because Whit Babcock, the athletic director, is asking for more money. You need wins to back up getting more money. You can't ask for more money after another bowl miss.
Refresh my memory. Is his job on the line too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, this
things could blow up in a hurry at Virginia Tech. Like that's tough. Another interesting game, UVA at NC State in a non-ACC game. NC State is a 3.5-point favorite. So if you're into sports betting, that's an interesting close line after UVA blew out Coastal Carolina. Chandler Morris is going to play. Tony Elliott was very confident in that earlier in his media availability this week. So the Cavaliers head on down to Raleigh to take on the Wolfpack of NC State in a non-conference game between the two sides. They don't play in ACC play, so they decided, hey, we'll schedule this game as a non-conference game. And it's a little weird, but look, that's the day and age we live in when it comes to when it comes to scheduling games. Other games around the Commonwealth, Norfolk State playing host to Virginia State. A massive game, big opportunity for Virginia State to go down there to the 757 and pull out a massive win. ODU is playing host to NC Central. Liberty is at Jacksonville State as the Flames get their Conference USA season going. Richmond is down at Wofford. You can hear that game right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond tomorrow. And William & Mary is playing host to the Maine Black Bears. Maine played last Saturday at Liberty in Lynchburg. It was a 7-7 game going into the fourth quarter. Then Liberty scored 21 unanswered in the fourth to pull away and eventually win 28-7. For Maine, they went back up. Now they're coming back down to the Commonwealth, now playing William & Mary as the Tribe get their final season in the CAA going. All right, we're going to get a break in here. Step aside, talk a little bit about the NFL games coming up this weekend, starting off with the Chargers-Chiefs as they face off in Brazil. Keep it locked. 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Catch up on the latest horse racing news with Off to the Races live broadcast, 10 to 11 every Saturday morning on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Your trash is treasure at CNC Colored Recycling. From copper wire to radiator ends, cans to lead batteries, CNC Colored Recycling will pay cash or check for your unwanted scrap metal. No load is too large or too small. Don't dump it, recycle it, and get paid at CNC Colored Recycling. Just south of Maple Street on Route 1 in Ashland. Free local container service is available too. CNC Colored Recycling. Open every weekday and a half day on Saturday. Check the latest cash scrap prices online right now at CCCullet.com. That's CCCULLET.
Hey, did you miss Clinton and friends?
Jason in Indianapolis.
Clinton, man, you're a great dude. Literally, when Greeny left, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get my Hembo trivia. Who's this Clinton dude? But, man, you're awesome, dude, and I really appreciate you being on the radio, man. Great hearing you, man.
Thanks for the phone call. Devin, cut it up for the promo right now. 11:14 in the morning. Get it done. Jason in Indianapolis. Tremendous phone call.
Clinton and friends. Weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
We're more than a station. We're a sports community. Braves, Spiders, NFL, NBA, MLB, NASCAR, talk shows, big games, local heroes. 106.1 ESPN Richmond. It's where Richmond talks sports. Want your brand in the mix? Advertise with us today. Call 804-330-5700 or email espnrva@summitmediacorp.com.
Hey, Richmond, this is Ben Ingram. And there's only one place in the 804 to stay up to date on all things Atlanta Braves. 106.1 ESPN.
Miley Cyrus? It was a random bumper, I know, but yeah, Miley Cyrus.
Whatever's in there.
Whatever we're doing. Whatever we're going. Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan alongside. The NFL season kicked off last night, and we've got a loaded week one. Highlighting all of the games, we can all agree. It's the Bills-Ravens contest on Sunday Night Football, right? That game is going to be electric. I think that game is going to be a preview of the AFC Championship. I believe those two teams will find their way into the AFC Championship game and make for some fantastic football. And
you just don't want the Chiefs to prosper.
Yeah.
They both can't beat the Chiefs. So, like, honestly, let's think about this. If you're the Bills or the Ravens,
okay,
which one of you would prefer to play the Chiefs?
Ravens.
The Ravens?
The Bills are okay. We're going to preview the games real quick, but I do have to ask, are the Bills the saddest? Like, not like sad as in bad, but like saddest as in they have had their heart broken so many times. I was thinking about how I would react if I was a Bills fan and they lost that 4th straight Super Bowl. Like, at a certain point, God just hates you.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I don't have a lot of sympathy for him because my brother's a Bills fan.
Look,
so.
I'll have sympathy for your brother because they lost the 4 Super Bowls, and now
he voluntarily comes back every year with expectations.
You've got a top 5 quarterback. I feel comfortable in saying Josh Allen's a top 5 quarterback.
Josh Allen's my guy.
You got a top 5 quarterback, and now you run into the boogeyman each and every year, and he takes you out. It just must be so hard to be a Bills.
I'm gonna start a Patrick Mahomes recovery group. So for the folks who've had your hearts broken by Patrick Mahomes, not that Patrick Mahomes beat you, but that Patrick Mahomes is the reason why you'll never see a Super Bowl
why you
for
can't
your
sleep
franchise.
at night.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's that to me, so I feel it.
Yeah.
Although I did win the one earlier with Peyton Manning having an absolute goose egg. But so the Ravens-Bills highlight what is going to be a great Sunday. Tonight, we've got the Chargers and Chiefs as they face off in Brazil. I reported it yesterday, was saying off of reporting from another ESPN writer. They said Najee Harris was starting. Hand up on me. I saw that headline and I ran with it. I then read the story and realized that Jim Harbaugh did not say anything about Najee Harris starting. The writer just made that his headline. And I thought there'd be a little bit more journalistic integrity from an ESPN writer. There wasn't really. There was no mention that Najee Harris is starting. As a matter of fact, it is now being reported by all of the fantasy sites, and that's who you can trust.
You can trust the
fantasy sites. That's not sarcasm either. You can trust fantasy sites.
I use them for injury reports for gambling all the time.
Yes. So Omarion Hampton will be starting for the Chargers.
See, Jim didn't bump his head. I thought Jim bumped his head, man. No way in the world Najee Harris starts over Omarion Hampton.
So Najee Harris is expected to be available for the game, but he's not starting, which it doesn't change everything, but Hampton is just the much better running back as it stands right now. He's more explosive. He's more dynamic. He was, if it wasn't for Ashton,
he better than Najee in college.
He was better than Najee. I was going to say if Ashton Genty didn't exist, Omarion Hampton probably would have been a top 10 pick in this year's NFL draft. Like,
you know, I was crazy about it. Yeah, I
love Hampton.
Chargers winning, baby. Chargers money line.
I like the Chargers in this game. I like the Chargers on the season. I think the Chargers are winning the AFC West, and this is going to tell me very early on in this season if that was a wise decision or not.
Bridge too far for me.
I feel that. I feel that. Look, I've been trying to dig the grave of the Chiefs for the last 4 years, and it hasn't worked. You want a funny story about the Chiefs?
Yes.
The year, what was it, 20? I think it was 23. Yeah, 23. The year that they were like limping their way through the regular season. Like they never looked that good. And it was just like, not if they were going to lose in the playoffs, but which round would it be? They're gonna lose. They're not that good, right? Well, I was working at a sports book at the time. We were only live in Iowa, and the number one team in Iowa is the Kansas City Chiefs because that's the closest professional team. So a lot of our bets, we were overexposed when it came to Kansas City Chief bets. And our sports book manager, because when you're working in a sports book, doing the lines and trying to figure out how you're going to manage your exposure, you're kind of betting at the same time. And our sportsbook manager was just kind of like, eventually they're going to have to lose. There's no way they win the Super Bowl. Look at this team. They stink. And so we tried to get it where we get more people to bet on the Chiefs because our sportsbook manager was like, eventually they're going to lose and we will win this money back. Well, we got hit pretty hard.
It's a bad bet, man.
It was bad. So I've been trying to bury the Chiefs since then.
I hope he doesn't have a job. Matter of fact,
none of us do. We all got laid off.
I was going to say, shoot, let me know.
Not because of that decision, I should say. Not because of that decision.
Sounds like my kind of lines. I'm looking for a survivor play since Bull Rush has their contest, and it's a tried and true strategy, I believe. But we're gonna go against the team that we know is not going to be that great, and they've got a week 1 matchup on the road. That would be the Tennessee Titans, traveling to Denver to play the Broncos.
Yeah,
for a survivor pick, I kind of like that one the most out of all the other options that we got out here. Because
good luck, Cam Ward. Not only is your first game against what's expected to be a top 5 defensive unit in the NFL, By the way, you're at elevation. You're in a place you've never played before. The air is thinner. You're going to have to take literal oxygen tanks to your face between every drive. Good luck.
Yeah, it's a gift for a survivor to get, a team like that, rookie quarterback, not a lot of talent around him, going on the road for his first game against a team that some people have in the playoff picture. So seems like a safe play.
Another game I'm really intrigued on. It's the Lions and the Packers. We had our hot take texter about earlier. The Lions beat the Packers by 10 plus as the world finally begins to appreciate the greatness of Jared Goff. I'm intrigued in this game for a couple of reasons. How do the Lions look after their massive brain drain, right? They lost their offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, and a couple of other position coaches as well that either went with Aaron Glenn to get a promotion or they went with Ben Johnson to the Bears to get a promotion. So the Lions have a lot of new faces on that coaching staff. They've still got an exceptional roster. How does Aiden Hutchinson, though, come back after that devastating leg injury? What does the offense look like with the new offensive coordinator calling the plays for Jared Goff? There are a lot of question marks around the Lions. And then on the other side, the Packers, they've got Micah Parsons now all of a sudden in the fold. How does Micah look? Does Micah play? There are a lot of question marks on both sides of the aisle on this one.
Yeah, but I think the strategy is still the same. If you're the Lions, establish your run, control the clock, control your controllables.
All right, coach.
But establish the run and make it a physical game. Again, the Packers, as a unit over the last probably since the Clay Matthews days, even then they were kind of soft. But they're just not a tough, gritty team.
Jeff Hafley made him into a pretty tough team last year, though. That defensive coordinator.
I still think you can hit him in the mouth.
Look,
and that's probably the only strategy for the Lions to start out. You don't want to come out with Jared Goff airing it out, man.
That's valid. If I'm the Lions, though, I'm taking it right to Micah Parsons. Either prove to me that you're able to handle the rush attack like you weren't able to do in Dallas, or prove to me that you're not hurt. Like if I'm the Lions, I'm going right after him.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I would always attack Micah running downhill with that offensive line that they got. My guy Sewell, I put him right there. I line him up in the formation Harbaugh likes to do when you got him in the backfield and just send him as the lead block. Like, so let's see what you got.
Let's see what you got.
And they've got the running back for it. I think a lot of people think Gibbs is going to take a huge step this year.
Gibbs he was being drafted in the top 5 of these fantasy drafts.
So it's like we're getting more about Sonic and less about Knuckles here.
I think they're going to lean into Knuckles, though. Like, I think this team, like, they're still going to be a pretty good Sonic Knuckles peanut butter and jelly type of split. Which are such weird
honestly
nicknames.
I would probably just I would go 70-30 rather than 60-40 or 50-50. I go 70-30 Gibbs. The explosiveness or the ability to be explosive to get those chunk plays would be such a big help for Jared Goff. I don't know if Jared Goff is going to benefit from a methodical team. Like, they need to really put some pressure on people.
I'm just so intrigued to see how it plays out. I think the Packers come out with the win, but the Micah availability is something that we've got to keep a very close eye on up until the Sunday game.
So if the Packers don't do what everybody expects and takes this big leap,
yeah,
can we start calling it what it is, man? Because I'm not a huge fan of Jordan Love. I like LaFleur as the coach, but again, even he has some criticism from me in his idea that they didn't need a wide receiver one.
They got a wide receiver one though.
Yeah,
he's just talking. He's
a rookie.
So Jamar Chase was a rookie.
Yeah, Jamar Chase he was special coming out. So was Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors.
I didn't see any of that from Golden.
Brian Thomas.
Thomas was special too. I didn't see any of that from Golden. I'm sorry.
Look, they went out. They got their guy. Maybe they don't need a wide receiver one. I do think it is a big year though for Jordan Love. He does have to take that step forward. He was dealing with a hurt MCL all of last year. He hurt it in the Brazil game early on in the season against the Eagles, and it was something that he never really got over. He was just managing for the season. So Jordan Love does need to take a step forward, and that is key in why I like the Packers. I think that step forward does come. And then in college football, some marquee games. We've got Baylor at SMU.
Where my Baylor people at?
That's what I'm. That's why I brought them
Baylor people at?
Baylor, you need this win to shut Allen up on the other side of the glass.
Do exactly what I expect you to do.
We talked about Grambling, Ohio State, battle of the bands, as the Grambling coach would say. Border war with Kansas, Missouri, renewing that rivalry. For the first time since 2011. Look, folks, I really like Kansas in that game. I love their quarterback, Jalen Daniels. No, not Jaden Daniels, but Jalen Daniels seems, based on the first 2 weeks of the season, looks to be back in that 2022-2023 form when he was one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12. UNC at Charlotte. One, I love that North Carolina has a literal state law that their Power 4 public programs or their FBS public programs have to play at one another.
Yeah.
So Charlotte gets to host Duke, UNC, NC State at different times. They essentially have that built-in non-conference game. I absolutely love it. This is going to be a massive test, though, for UNC. Charlotte looked bad against App State. UNC, you hope to run the 49ers out of Jerry Richardson Stadium down there in the Queen City. And then our only ranked matchup, Oklahoma, playing host to Michigan. Oklahoma, a very slight favorite in that, because that's our only ranked matchup of the weekend.
What's that line now? It was at
3.5.
Wow, it went down a lot. I knew it would. It was at like 6.
Keep it locked right here, 106.1 ESPN Richmond. We are the spot where Richmond talks sports. Coming up next, Clinton and Friends from 10 until noon. Then the Rich Eisen Show from 12 until 3. Then we're out at Colonial Downs from 3 until 6. We've got Steelers and Jets airing on Sunday right here on 106.1, so you don't want to miss that. And then go on out to Colonial Downs, post time 4 p.m. Go say hi to Matt and Bob as they've got their right. Bob's out there, right? Yeah,
Bob will be there.
Bob will be there. He'll be out there from 3 until 6. So go out, say hi, and then going out to Maury Verina tonight, a massive 757 versus 804 showdown. Alan's going to be out there. Go say hi. Have a wonderful weekend.
From the ESPN studio, presented by Ortho Virginia. Find one of Ortho Virginia's orthopedic locations at orthovirginia.com. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURB HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN.
This isn't fantasy football, it's real competition. Welcome to the NFL Survivor Tournament. You versus the field. $100 to enter, $100,000 in total prizes, $50K to the winner. Start each week with a $100K bankroll. Pick games, win returns. Top 80% survive. Bottom 20%, you're out. Bankroll resets weekly, no carryover. 20 weeks, 100K. Will you take home the cash? Sign up, lock in, and let's see if you've got the guts to survive.